Episode of Ian is a Weirdo. Today I am going to be making a witch hat, or going to be working on it. I'm going to be using this Halloween yarn that I got from Joann. It's part of their Big Twist Halloween yarns. This is the one, I think it's spooky season. Yeah, spooky season. So it's orange and like different shades of orange, different shades of purple, black, gray, white. It's amazing. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Um, so I started this hat, and um, I can find the link. Sorry if it gets all glitchy while I look for the pattern. But it's called the Modern Witch Hat, and not hate, um, hat, not hate, hat crochet pattern, and I purchased it with my own dollars because no one's giving me shit. Like, why would you think that? But I immediately loved it. Now there are a bunch of, if you just search like modern witch hat um, uh, patterns, there's gonna be a lot of cool ones. Heads up. But this one in particular, I just fell in love with. I thought it was perfect. Um, and so I'm going to try to find a link for you all. There we go. And so, and then I'm trying to get rid of all the crap. It's probably easier. Easier way to share this, but I did not find it. Okay. So that is the link. Make sure you include the question mark. Or I actually tried it before and it didn't require the question mark. But if you're looking for it, that is the pattern that I got, and that is the pattern that I'm working on right now. So let me double check which row I'm on. Actually, I'm going to smoke a cigarette before I start working, but I'll get kind of get my place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that was the row that I did. So, with all the single crochets around, so I just did 3. Okay, yeah. So this is a pattern that I've had for a long time. I have a lot of patterns that I just forget about, and so lately I've just been like, you know what, I just need to fucking do my patterns. I'm waiting on some yarn, and then I have an outstanding packer or 2 outstanding packer patterns due. But I just like, I don't know, I feel like the creative juices are going. I feel like I just want to create some fun stuff. This hat is one of the things that I created. Um, I don't know what's going on, because I can't imagine that Bag of Days tension is so much tighter than mine that um, we would have this problem twice. I double checked the hook size the whole time. I did make a mistake for like a row, but I frogged it. But when she makes it, she ends up doing 6 panels of the short row crochet, and when I make it, I only need 5 panels, and this has happened twice. Um, the measurements end up being exactly the same, but she uses 6 panels and I use 5. I don't know why that is. So, but like I said, like that's a significant difference in intention. I'm using the same yarn size and all of this stuff, so I'm not quite sure what's going on, but not to say that she doesn't know what she's doing, because she absolutely does. I have made some Bag a Day patterns and they've ended up totally the wrong size, but I've always eaten the mistake as like my mistake, because that would make more sense. I won't be on here super long, because I am going to go look at an apartment, and so fingers crossed that that works out. And we'll see how that shakes out. Um, because I'm going to be moving in the next couple of weeks, and I'll still be in LA County. It's just about where in LA County I will be and how quickly I can get into a place that I need to get into. So, it is what it is. Um, I don't know if that's what I wanted to say, but it's what happened. So on one of the things that I did for this hat that I promise you I've never done once in my life, and it's kind of a running joke among us like shares, right? Is is I've never done a gauge swatch in my entire freaking life. Like never, ever, ever. And I probably should have for a lot of my projects because they ended up being way the wrong size. But I've never done a gauge swatch. But because this had I wanted it to fit just right. Like I wanted to have the right curve on the head and everything. Um, and the hook size that was required for or like was recommended for this project um, was a G6, which is a 4.25 millimeter hook. Now I have tons of fours and I have a couple 4.5s. I do not have a 4.25 hook. So I was like, okay, well, I don't have the right size hook. So I need to see what is going to work. Now, luckily, the 4.5 worked perfectly, so I can just go ahead and do my 4.5 millimeter hook and do the hat that way. So I'm really excited about that. Because, like, does anyone have a 4.25 hook? Is that a thing? Like, I'm sure you can, like, go out and, like, purposefully buy one, but like they're not usually in sets. Like they're not like that's just not something that I've seen. So, um, yeah, um, I so yeah, I'm gonna be using a 4.5, which isn't even a common. Hello, welcome in. I'm smoking a cigarette really quick before I start making or working on this hat. I put the hat pattern that I purchased in the chat if you are interested. It is very cute. And I fell in love with it the moment I saw it. Something about just the way that it fits the head is very unique and just is really appealing to me because not only does it have like the pointy top of your traditional witch hat, but it fits the head so nicely that I was like, this is like a wearable witch hat. And I don't know why I felt like I needed that, but that's who I am. I want to have a wearable witch. Now I'm making it in the Big Twist Halloween yarn, the spooky season yarn. I have a limited color palette with me because I've been moving around, going different places in California for the past several months, and the vast majority of my yarn is across the country. So I kind of have to work with what I've got a lot of the time. Um, and I have only, this is a yarn that I've talked before about how using variegated yarn can be really intimidating for me because you really want that variegation to shine. And so you don't want like a busy stitch, but then you also don't want to waste this variegated yarn on like a boring ass project. Maybe you do, and that's what makes it interesting. I don't know. That's why I don't know how to use variegated yarn. So this yarn, when I worked it up for the swatch, it looked so cool, and I was like, "This is gonna be great for the witch hat," and and I might post it for sale on Etsy. I might not. We'll see. This yarn, because it's Big Twist, is not going to be available anymore. So will it find a special place in my heart? We shall see. Now, one thing that I noticed as I was looking through the pattern description and the stitches that it requires is that the rim is a reverse single crochet or the crab stitch, and I haven't done one in years because I avoid it like the plague. I avoid that stitch so much because it hurts my hand a lot to go backwards. Um, However, it's just around the brim of the hat. It's not like a ton. I think the only time I've done it is for a bag a day hat, and she had like a couple like spaced out rows of it. If I'm not mistaken, I might be, but it's really uncomfortable for my hand to like start moving in a different direction because your hand naturally gets used to going in one direction. So I did find a great tutorial on it, um, that if you want to learn how to do. Sorry if my computer gets all weird from going to a different um, reverse. Sorry, my ADHD is kicking like bad today. Um, so 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 sorry if it kind of blinks out and is like meh. What I really liked is that this this tutorial that I followed, and it's not a video tutorial. It's just a blog. Um, but what I really liked about it is that it showed both right hand and left hand points of view on every point of learning the stitch. So, granted, it's not like the most difficult stitch, but it is, a stitch. Well, thank goodness I described that. Um, oh my gosh, someone did a whole baby blanket. Fucking pass, hard pass right there. You could not pay me enough. So it's also called the crab stitch because you're going backwards. But let me see if I can find it. The what I found on my phone. Ooh, this is it. This is it. It's it shows it, and it just makes it so easy to see like where things like should go. For me, like it was the type of visual that I was like, yes, this is great. Okay, so now we're going to okay. So now we're going to do round 4. So this one starts. I'm not going to tell you every step of this pattern because that would be telling someone else's intellectual property, and that's not the type of thing that I do. Um, if I can help it, because that's they worked super hard on this pattern, most likely. Um, but it starts with a magic circle or magic ring, and I've started doing double magic rings, and because um, I had a magic ring pop on one of the projects that I did, which I've heard can happen, magic rings, because there's so much tension when you pull that the string tight, because there's so much tension. Um, you you can break it, and it happened, and I was so upset, and I spent so much time fixing it, and it was like never again. So instead of doing like the chain 4, you know, go into it type thing, I decided to start doing double magic rings, and I haven't had any problems just yet. The only thing is when you're making it, you have to kind of pay a little bit more attention to, tightening that ring up because um, you can't just pull the end like you would with a normal magic ring. You kind of have to finagle it a little bit to make sure both rings are being pulled properly. If you've done it before, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't tried a double magic ring, I do suggest it if you do magic rings a lot, especially with like stuffies, things like that, because you want those to last. Well, I mean, everything you make, you probably want it to last, right? That's why you put so much effort into it. But hey, I don't know your life. You do you. Okay, and I finished round 4. Right now, it's just like a little nub. I'm at the top of the witch hat. It's interesting to see the change of like tension among different projects that have done. Like this project having my tension be so much, I guess, looser than Bag of Days, and then having my tension be a little bit um, different for the project that I'm working on now because I was thinking like, yeah, I've got like average tension and like stuff like that. Like I'm definitely not a super tight crocheter, but I'm not super like loosey goosey with it either. And then just to see like the differences, and not to say that anyone, someone else or myself, is wrong for having the tension that they do. That's just how, like, that's the whole reason that people put the tension there is so that they make sure that the sizing is right. So, but it's interesting because I was here kind of thinking that like I had this like average tension, and then the hat, like the short row beanie, has really kind of blown my mind of like what the hell is going on. Like, do I have average tension or not? Um, because I wouldn't look at Bag of Days' work and be like, wow, she's got super tight tension. But, you know, maybe that's the case, maybe not. I don't know. Okay, finish round 5, and we're going to move on to round 6. So, welcome in. I hope you're having a good day today. It's pretty brisk here in LA, brisk for LA, which is why the beanie and the jacket are necessary. Okay, we're on 6. I think it just got like fiber in my mouth. So, cool news for me, maybe, potentially. I might be, or I, it looks like I'm going to be starting a new ADHD medication, which I'm excited and nervous about. Um, uh, but if you are on ADHD medication or you know someone who is, you might know that there is a national shortage of a lot of medications. Part of the reason is that it's because like stimulants are or can be abused, and so drug companies are trying to limit the amount that is that are out there so that they are abused less. Um, and but for those of us who do not abuse them and take them regularly, it can be very, very difficult, especially if you don't know the results you're going to have with a new medication. So for me, I'm a little nervous, but I've also been thinking that I need to change my dose. So, and get a little bit more assistance, a little more like push up. So I'm interested to see if this is like what I need or if this is like not the tea. And it's kind of coming in like a critical part in my life, if I'm not if I'm not mistaken. If I'm like not, you know, it's coming in a critical part of my life, and I know that sounds a little dramatic, but I'm in the middle of like moving and like changing like big things in my life, and so it's like, well, if it works, I could be like boom, like doing the stuff, moving, doing all my things I need, and like everything could be great. Or if it is a catastrophe, shit could hit the fan. Shit could really hit the fucking fan on this. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm trying to go into it optimistically. I don't know if you could hear anything that I was just saying. I'm a little nervous, but I'm trying to go into it optimistically. Um, and uh, just trying to pay attention to my symptoms. Just like with any new medication you start, you want to kind of pay attention to any changes in your body, and make sure that it's a good fit for you. Um, so, uh, I do have a slight disadvantage that if this medication is really wrong for me, it could push me into a really bad mental state. um, you know, um, I I don't know if a lot of people know that uh, people who are diagnosed bipolar, like myself, tend to not be given these types of medications because they can cause manic episodes, and that is the last thing in the entire world that I want. And if that were to happen, and I were to have that happen as I'm trying to move, it could be devastating. Like it could be really bad. Um, and so I'm just trying not to be like that in my head, where it's like, oh shit, this could really just fucking blow up in my face. But oh shit, this could really blow up in my face. you know. Okay. So now we're on round 8. But hopefully it goes well, and it's just, a good fit, and everything is hunky dory, and I'm fixed. I don't have ADHD anymore. I'm just kidding. I mean, that's the thing. It's just like no medication's gonna fix you. But hopefully it goes hopefully it goes well, and it's a good fit, and it does what I needed to do, which is just help me function as a semi-normal human. That would be super great, super awesome, and I would be very, very grateful for that. Um, but I have to pay attention just in case that's not the story that unfolds. But we shall see, and we will not try to tell the future because that's not my fucking job. But anywho, yeah, so that's been going on, and I'm like, I've been I've been like hounding my doctor's office, like, please help me. Um, and Yeah, they're not always the most responsive. I don't love my psych, if I'm being honest. Um, but anyways, uh, that's another story for another time. Now, I had the option to use. I do have two. I have this 4.5 clover hook, and then I have a 4.5 or a couple 4.5s that are. You know what? What could have been good. Although it wouldn't have been as fast. But I do have, because furls has their seconds, and sometimes those seconds, like, they're not quite the right size, and that's why they became a second. So they're like half off. I think I had a 4 millimeter that was like a little bit too big, and that's why it was a second. So that could have been good. But this actually, like, with my tension and the gauge, the swatch that I did, this actually ended up being perfect. So no big deal. Um, but that could have been an option that I thought about before this very second. Oh my gosh, I tried to read something out loud today and it was a nightmare. Like I said, the ADHD, it's been kicking, and my eyeballs were like all over the page. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I love the color changes. I love the colors of this yarn. It's so beautiful. This is it so far. It doesn't, you can't really see the purple, um, but but it doesn't have any orange in it yet. It's about to have a little bit of orange. Um, uh, but just the color combination just like reminds me of like the best time of the year, and it just makes me so happy. Like these are the colors that are just like associated with just like pure happiness, um, because I love Halloween, and so it'll be exciting to be able to celebrate Halloween, because last year I did not get a chance to, other than coloring a few pictures that we taped to a wall in the psych ward. I swear, if someone like just like came upon my channel, they'd be like, "What the fuck?" Like I talk about the most random things, and then like also just like, "Oh yeah, being in the psych ward," would be like, "What is going on? Like, why is this person allowed on the internet?" But trust me, there's far worse people on the internet, and if you've been on it, you know. Okay, so we're on row 10, and do this. I love when the colors like mingle, because it's not just like flat striping. The colors kind of like blend in, or speckle in. Um, so like maybe you can kind of see how like the black is speckled into the orange. It just looks so gorgeous. Um, oh, man, that's one thing I'm gonna really miss uh, about the Big Twist yarn. Um, but it just is what it is, and we're gonna have to, deal. 2, 3, 4. I'm sure someone will take the place, but until then, you know, we're stuck with, you know, what we got, and that's okay. You know. Okay. So just finished row 10. I'm gonna finish row 11, and then I'm probably gonna head out, so that I can go and look at this apartment. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's not a scam. This one is I'm a little nervous it's a scam, if I'm being honest. So I'm having a friend go with me and kind of vibe check because I'm not quite sure. I'm really glad I made this hat when I did because it's a little chilly. And I was like, I knew I was like, yeah, I was like, yeah, there's just been some like random chilly days, so I'm just gonna make a hat so that I can stay a little warmer. I did have this hat, the same pattern in the retro stripes and like the pastel rainbow, which isn't really my vibe as much. But I gave it to the person who modeled it for me for Etsy. Um, Not that I had to; they were totally fine with not, you know, um, you know, they didn't require payment like that, but I gave it to them. So, um, oh, it's so cute! Look at it, wee. Okay, so I just finished up row 11, and I'm gonna put a stitch marker in it just to make sure that it doesn't come undone. I don't always do that. I usually just pull it, you know, um, to be a lot larger. But with this, I want to make sure everything's nice and neat. And then I'm also gonna turn it inside out and and then tie off my like weave in my the end of my magic ring. Just so she's nice and secure. Okay, and then I'm going to put this in here. Does anyone else have to like narrate everything that they do? Or is it just me? I feel like it helps me get things done faster. I just like, I'm gonna put this in here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna touch this. Oh, snip, snip, snip. I love these snippers way better than scissors. Like, and they're so much more convenient. Um, and let's go here. My little troll bag with this little troll charm. And look at its belly button. Oh my gosh. I'm normal. Pay no attention to the crazy person in front of the camera right now. So that's what it looks like right now. Well, actually, that's not what it looks like. That's just inside. So that's what it looks like right now. And I'm going to put this yarn away, go look at this place, and fingers crossed it's decent. And yeah, I'm sure I'll let you know eventually. So I hope you have a great day or night or wherever.